Hi, this is Marini, and today we're going to talk about debt. We're going to talk specifically about strategies to reduce or eliminate your debt. And I'm going to start with myself first. Um, there are definitely ways that you can reduce or eliminate debt with faster if you want to, or in some cases altogether. I know for myself, when I graduated from college, there was a program called Peace Corps, United States Peace Corps, which I participated in. Essentially, with the Peace Corps, you as an American, a citizen, you go to another country, and typically a Peace Corps volunteer is in another country volunteering in specific areas, such as business or education or health or agriculture for 2 years. In exchange for that, or one of the benefits is while you are a Peace Corps volunteer, your student loan debt can be in forbearance. And in some cases, I know that certain loans could be, a percentage of the loans could be forgiven as well. So for me, that was one thing that I did to help to reduce some of my student loan debt. And also, I would say first, not to have to pay that debt while I was away and not working a traditional job in America. Also, one thing I did, and this was it was educational as well, but with my employer, they have a tuition reimbursement program, meaning that if you go to school, you're taking classes towards a degree in an area that relates to what you're doing, the work you're doing, then we could get our tuition reimbursed, meaning that essentially by earning good grades, of course, you can potentially get reimbursed for your entire education. And that's one thing I highly recommend to others. A few years ago, there was an apprentice at the job that I worked closely with, and I was telling him, I was like, I know of a young lady who she was a high school apprentice. She ended up getting a job at 18, and she worked and went to school at the same time, and she participated in the tuition reimbursement program, and she was able to essentially have her employer pay for her education because she of course worked and maintained good grades. Now, some employers, they may pay a specific dollar amount, or they may pay per year or per class or quarter, however your employer does it. Some, like when I got my degree, the employer, they'll pay or reimburse, I should say, based on a percentage based on your grade. So if you make a C, you're not going to get 100% of that class reimbursed. You made a C, and it may be about 70, 80%, something like that. But definitely check with your particular employer's benefits department to find out what type of incentives. I know a lot of people who are military or military vet or active duty military or veterans. There are tons of incentives for you. If you do not know, I would say ask a veteran. Contact VA, the Department of Veteran Affairs. There are several opportunities for you as well. So also, I mentioned in a previous video with consolidating debt or using debt relief companies. With my experience, in doing that, unfortunately, I forwent get the opportunity to have a percentage discount on my interest rate for my student loan. So that's one, and essentially with that particular loan service provider, I could have gotten a lower interest rate on my student loan, which would have made my money go further, because I consolidated my debt from a federal student loan to a private loan. So if you're considering any of that, definitely check that video out. Check things out with your loan provider as well. But that's another way you can pay off debt. Also, I know especially with student loan debt in particular, for certain loan providers, if you are in certain fields, professions, I should say, such as if you're a teacher or you're maybe a healthcare worker, whether it's a doctor, a nurse, things of that nature, there are certain loan providers who will forgive your debt, or even there are some employers that could potentially forgive your debt just because you work in a certain field. So you want to take advantage of all the opportunities that come to you that will help benefit you, and also you can be a benefit to others, because we definitely don't want to be saddled with debt. The Bible talks about owing no man nothing but to love them, and that includes our debts as well. So if this has been helpful for you, learning a little bit more about some ways to reduce and eliminate debts, let me know in the comments below. And this is Marini, and I'll be talking to you soon.